Hi, my name's Paul. Welcome to the Gym Club. Today I'm joined by Del again, and we're going to talk about some nutrition myths.
Yeah, so we wanted to try and make a video because being gym spocs and personal trainers, etc., we do work with a lot of people on an everyday basis that have got problems and are often misformed about information when it comes to nutrition and training, etc. So this is going to be a bit of a series. There's going to be different episodes aimed at different parts of a health program. So today we're going to talk about the top nutrition myths, and we've picked 5 that we often hear ourselves, and I'll be honest, I used to think some of them were true as well, but with further education and experience you realise that they're actually not true. We'll get right down to it then. So the first one we've got is, if I eat fat, will I get fat? So what's your honest opinion on that then when you hear that, Paul?
Yeah, what an absolute load of rubbish, isn't it, really,
Yeah.
basically. It's the same as, if you eat carbs, will you get fat? If you eat protein, will you get fat? It all comes down to your calorific expenditure. If you take in more than you put out, you're going to get fat. Doesn't matter if it comes from fat, comes from carbs, comes from protein. Effectively, you just need a balanced diet. And don't forget that you do need fat, don't you? The body needs to function. It needs fat to function.
It's essential.
So you've just got to get the right fats in, and you can get fat in anything.
I think it's the word fat that often scares people off. We think fat is associated with being fat. That's not the case. Fat's very beneficial, like Paul said. It's essential, just like protein is. So things like carbs are not so essential. We can live without them, but proteins and fats are essential for the body. Getting the right type of fats is obviously important. Trans fats, which is in a lot of processed foods, we like to minimalise that. Of course, there's room for a little bit in any diet. There's room for anything in any diet. But when we think of the fats we need, the omega-3, the omega-6, the polyunsaturated fats, that's all really good for hormone regulation, body temperature, muscle sheathing, and just protecting the body, because that is what the muscles are wrapped in. Visceral fat and trans fats, they're the ones you want to avoid. But the answer basically to the question is, you will not get fat if you eat fat unless you eat too much fat. But like Paul said, it's like anything.
There's a lot of fat too much.
Yeah. It's just like anything. If you eat too much of anything, you will put on weight, because it's the calories in versus calories out.
Eat too many carrots, you're going to get fat, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah. Too much spinach, you'll get fat as well. It's pretty simple, guys. Just regulate it. Just keep an eye on what you're taking in. If you're taking in too much, you may get fat. But we want to try and move people away from being scared of fats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you shouldn't be scared of fats, should you?
No, that's right. So the next myth. If I eat after 8 o'clock at night, will it be stored as body fat?
It's almost funny because I actually used to think this, I'll be completely honest, I used to think that if I ate after 8 PM then it was magically, there was going to be a switch put on, and anything I ate then was going to be converted into body fat. And
Did you have an alarm clock?
Yeah.
It was like, quick, chuck it away.
Yeah, I did. I sort of had to scran as much as I can. As soon as the clock strikes 8 o'clock, it was sort of like, get everything down.
Like Cinderella.
Yeah, you shall go to the ball. No, yeah, I mean, I used to think this. Let's be rational, let's just think. In order for you to gain weight, you have to be eating more than what you burn in a day. There is the body. We've created a day. We've created time. 24 hours is what we call a day. So we like to think that we would structure our calorie intake in a day. It does not matter whether you take in all of the calories in the morning or at night. You've still taken in 2,000 calories. Give the example about Ben and Jane. Ben eats 1,500 calories split between 3 meals a day. He's got the time to eat throughout the day. Jane, who works her arse off, probably works in the army or does man hub or something, doesn't get a chance to eat. She eats all of her calories at the end of the day, 1,500 calories worth. They both eat 1,500 calories worth in a day. There is minimal difference between eating all before she goes to sleep at 9 o'clock or Ben spacing them out throughout the day. It's overall calorie consumption that matters, not what time you've eaten. Yeah,
absolutely. And when you go out of bed, your body's repairing itself, isn't it? So
it is. Yeah, that's the only time it can properly repair. Isn't it?
So what calories you get, if you are going to eat later into the evening, make sure it's good calories. Something your proteins, again coming back to your fats, so that when your body is doing this repair process, it's got the nutrients it wants, rather than a bag of M&Ms or something like that.
The only thing I do find late at night, most people do have more snacks. That's where we're settling down, we're winding down, for some reason the cookie jar tends to open a little bit, and there's a little voice in there saying eat me, and that does tend to happen, doesn't it? You know, we're sat there watching films.
We're all guilty of that.
Yeah. You know, Netflix and chill, or whatever you want to call it, Amazon Prime, and I won't say the rest of it. But you know, we tend to eat more calories at night, so if you can control it at night, that's fine. But eating after 8 p.m, absolutely fine.
Yeah, too right.
Cool.
So the third.
The third one. Is breakfast the most important meal? What's your thoughts on that?
No. I mean, different people. You know, I like having a breakfast. I train in the morning, so I like to have some fresh fuel inside me for that training. And I suppose my habit over my lifetime, I've always had a breakfast. If I don't have a breakfast, I don't necessarily function as 100%. Yeah.
It's like morning coffee. You can't talk to anyone until you've eaten.
Got to have my brew. And then I find that if I don't have breakfast, come around mid-morning, 10, 11 o'clock, I am then hangry, and that's when there is the you know, if I'm on having a weak moment, the snacking will start. But some people don't like breakfast. My wife, if she has breakfast in the morning, it makes her feel ill. She doesn't eat breakfast. So if you have breakfast, I'd say every meal is an important meal, because it's what you eat is what you are. But is breakfast the most important meal? No, it's not.
I think we were almost tricked because, you know, we used to get told that that's the Queen's meal, wasn't it? Yeah. You know, breakfast is the Queen's meal. It's the most important. It depends what your lifestyle's. If you're not very active in the mornings, you're sat at a desk, and you don't feel hungry, you're not going to need the energy. Whereas if you're a marathon runner and you're getting up to train and you're about to go on a 20-mile run, then clearly you are going to have breakfast. It fits into your lifestyle, and it all comes down to almost everything in training and nutrition. It depends. It depends on your lifestyle, your life, your preferences. I go through phases. Sometimes I love having breakfast, and particularly when I was doing all my running training, clearly I was eating in the mornings. But I tend to long mine out. I tend to save my calories later on in the day, because I know then that I'm going to be a little bit hungrier, I'm going to be a little bit active. Don't tend to really get to train in the mornings much with the children and things like that. So yeah, I space it out, but breakfast is, if you don't want to eat it, don't eat it. If you do want to eat it, crack on, but it all comes down to being in that calorie deficit if you want to lose weight.
Everybody's different, aren't they? And there have been studies done into, you know, those that eat breakfast and those that don't. I'm not saying that if you're currently have breakfast, don't have it, but people that don't eat breakfast tend to find it easier to lose weight, because they automatically have that calorie deficit, and they don't necessarily make them up during the day. But if you're a creature of habit and have breakfast and then don't have it, you might find that you do start to get hungry mid-morning. So if that is you, and you do start to feel hungry, don't reach for the biscuit or go to the tuck shop. You know, have a banana or an apple. You know, something that's going to get rid of your hunger in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Number 4.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. This is a great one. All the supermarkets go on about it, don't they? Is low-fat food better for me?
Well, it's almost illegal what they do when it comes to low fat, because there's obviously strict guidelines that they have to meet for it to be able to say it is low fat, and that is really not much less than what a normal fat food is. What I normally find is, if you look at the ingredients list, diving into a little bit more advanced looking at foods, you look into the ingredients list. If it is low fat, you look what else they've pumped it with. You're going to find a lot of sugar, a lot of artificial things in there. Low fat, if we take the fat out of something, it means we need to put something back in to make it tasty. If it's not high sugar and high fat, then it's going to absolutely taste horrible. So the supermarkets will often find that they'll take out that fat. Do you remember us saying that fat is quite good for you in a controlled environment? They'll take that out and they'll put something that's not natural in, so something artificial. If we're looking at general health and well-being, then we want to put the best things into our body. Just because it's a little bit lower in calories, we're now putting something rubbish into our body. No, just cut your portion size of whatever that is high fat, and then you're still getting the goodness from it. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the next time you go to the supermarket, go down the yoghurt aisle, go to those zero fat ones, have a look at the ingredients. You'll be absolutely shocked how much sugar is in there. Sometimes you're looking at 5-6 teaspoons of sugar in a little pot. It's horrendous. Plus all the false crap that they put in there. You know, the artificial sweeteners, which are, if it ain't natural, try and steer clear as much as you can. It's difficult, but it's doable.
It's going to be a lot cheaper for you as well, because if you think about the low fat products, because they are low fat and people are interested in them, they can get away with charging more. They charge more for putting rubbish into it, okay, but if we were just to limit the amount of fat you're having in general, okay, to create that calorie deficit, you're going to save money as well on your shopping bill, because it seems that there's low fat, high protein this, no fat this, 0% fat this. It's just a money gimmick. Just aim for eating a reasonable amount of food and lowering your overall calorie intake, and you'll be okay, and you'll save money as well. You'll be able to go on more holidays and go and buy nice things for yourself instead of being a slave to the shops and spending all your money.
Because the buzzword at the moment is obviously protein, isn't it?
Yeah.
High protein this, high protein that.
Bread.
But if you actually look at them, there isn't a lot of protein in there.
Minimal.
You could probably add as much, if more, protein to something by putting in a handful of nuts, peanut butter, or natural yogurt, something like that. That's got good protein in, and you'll get more out of it. And as Dale said, you're going to save yourself money.
Yeah, because we're all about that, aren't we? We don't want to, shopping's expensive as it is. We want to try and minimise cuts, cut spending as much as we can. Should we move on to number 5?
Yeah, number 5.
Final point. Does my diet need to be perfect for me to lose weight?
Nah, of course not.
No, of course it doesn't. My diet's not perfect.
80% of the time, I'd say. 75-80% of the time.
Yeah.
And again, that 75-80% doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
It just has to be well balanced, nutritional.
Yeah, better than what you were before. Because I don't even know what a perfect diet is.
I don't think there is one.
I don't think there is one. There's always something out there that we're going to have. And at the end of the day, hate to say it, you only live once. You've got to enjoy yourself. Yes, we want to be better versions of ourselves. We want to improve. We want to live a healthy life. But if Paul said to me, do you fancy going for a beer and a burger? I'd be like, hell yeah. I would work hard around it. Maybe I'd go, smash out a little chest and arms before we go to the pub, just so we look good. Or after the next day, I'd probably have a little bit lower calories, but I'm not going to turn down a beer and a burger, because for me, it's a social experience. It's going out with friends, it's enjoying life. If you have a perfect diet or you're trying to be perfect, the chances are you're not going to be out on it long enough to see a result, because you'll be falling off for 3 or 4 days.
It becomes unenjoyable, therefore unsustainable, and you're just not going to do it. It's got to be your diet, dirty word diet. No, diet's what you eat.
Yeah.
Lions have a diet of antelope. Your diet is what you eat. Let's not dirty the word. Your diet, you've got to enjoy it. Okay, you've got to like it. It's got to be sustainable. If it's not sustainable, as Dale said, you're not going to stick with it, and you're just going to go back to your crappy diet, and you're just going to get fat again. Yeah. So 80% of the time, have it good. It doesn't have to be perfect. 80% of the time. Balanced to what your goals are, and then the other 20% of the time, I'm not saying go and have a 20 pack of donuts or something like that, don't shy away from having a donut. If you factored it into your lifestyle and your diet, your nutrition, like I do at the weekends. I know that on a Friday and a Saturday night, I'll perhaps sit there, I like tortillas and stuff like that. So I factor it into the week. I make my week harder so that I can then relax at the weekend. I don't have to monitor what I'm eating, and then when the week comes again, it's only 5 days before it's another weekend, and I enjoy it and I sustain it. It
just comes down to being aware of what you're doing. So being aware of what you've eaten throughout the week. Can I account for having something like this? I've had a pretty good week, I've not been perfect. You want to take your diet from being rubbish to perfect to not sustainable, rubbish to okay to good to really good, and that's what we're looking for, small improvements. Because Rome wasn't built in a day. It's a cliche, but it's the truth. We can't go from being able to run a mile in 12 minutes to thinking that we're going to be at Mo Farah's pace the next
running
week.
a marathon the next
week.
It's
just not available, is it? It's just not realistic. So why do we think that we need to have a perfect diet when it's awful now, when we know that we can't run a marathon after one day of training, or 1 week of training? So just keep it real, guys. Just do what works for you. All of these points we've covered all come down to, it depends what your lifestyle is. My lifestyle is different to Paul's. Paul's lifestyle is different to mine. Our lifestyles are different to yours. Your lifestyles are different to ours. It's just what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope you enjoyed that. Obviously, we've only done 5 points. There's hundreds of myths out there. I looked online for 5 myths and found 25 within the first couple of searches. If there's anything that you want us to address, either in the comments to yourselves or to do another video, let us know. We'll crack on with it, and then we'll think of doing some other Mythbusters.
Yeah, Mythbusters.
Yeah,
We need to get some outfits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For the future.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, if you know anyone that's really struggling, thinking, sort of living their life around one of these myths, then direct them to our YouTube channel. We're happy to get in touch with anybody to re-educate them. But we hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for your time.
Nice one. Thanks for watching.
Cheers.